Good morning, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I got a couple things to show off this week, so we'll jump right in. So, one of the things that we talked about I was working on is the application overrides for the application detection in InputMapper. And I have that working, so we're going to show that off here. So if I go over here to this Google Chrome browser I have running, I have a running copy of Doom 2 here. And if you've ever been to this website, you can actually play full-blown like DOS games and all that stuff right through the web browser using Unity. So we have that, and what I want to do is I want InputMapper to actually detect that as the game that you're actually playing there. So what we'll do is we'll go back over here to InputMapper, and you see the window switches to InputMapper as the application running. That's one of the reasons why we needed to add this history list here. So we can actually jump back here to Google Chrome, and we can say that this is incorrect. We're going to override what it thinks is going on there. So that gives us this window here. You'll see that a lot of the labels look kind of funny, and that's just because I haven't put the English translations in there yet. InputMapper 1.7 is capable of localization and multiple languages, so until I get those in there, they look a little funny. But what we're going to do here is the first three rows here are what it's actually using to detect what is being played or running. So we have the executable path, that's correct. The program name, that's correct. And then we have the window title, and this is what we're going to focus on to actually tell it that this is Doom 2 for the most part. Because we don't want it to just, work for all web browsers or, across the board. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this a little bit because these values here might change, the speed, the frame skip, stuff like that. So we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to put an asterisk to let it know that that's a wild card and that there can be anything in there. So for the window title, it allows wildcards. You can either use an asterisk or a question mark. We're going to go ahead and check all of these because we're going to detect based on all of these values, meaning all these conditions must be true. And then for the actual magic down here, the override, we're going to switch this from an application to a game. And in here, we're going to type in the name of the game, which is Doom 2, and hit OK. Now, when we go back over here, we select this window again, you'll see that now it detects it as Doom 2. And that's because if we go over here, detection details, it's matching these variables that we set up. So that's just a quick sample of the overrides. There's a couple more bugs I got to work out. It seems to be working pretty smooth for the most part. The only issue right now is it's not detecting when you're in an application and you switch tabs or windows within that application. That's not triggering it to redetect a new program, such as if you're in the actual Google Chrome and you jump between tabs. I want that to trigger InputMapper to redetect as well. So that's a simple bug. I actually had that working before, but now that I rewrote it, I have to just re-implement it. So that shouldn't take any time. Now past that, the next thing that I'm going to be working on for this week is to actually connect that to the code that switches the controller profiles. I have a lot of that actually already written from like 7-8 months ago. I just never had the application detection to a point where those two connected together. But now that they are, I should be able to connect those two dots together, and assuming that there's no major rewrites needed in my old code for the profile switching, that should work pretty seamlessly. So hopefully that part can be out in my nightly build this week. And going forward, next thing I'm going to do is I'll probably, any time I have left this month or this week, I'll probably spend that adding other emulators to the detection. We talked about the PSX emulator, where it was kind of hard to detect the game running inside that application because unlike what we just showed here, Google Chrome, the window title doesn't actually say anything about the game, so it requires a few more steps. So that's probably where I'm going to be spending the most rest of my week doing that. Next week, I have some new video equipment actually coming in this week. And what we're going to be doing is, starting next week, I'm going to try to start putting out more comprehensive video tutorials. I think the InputMapper 1.7 plugins are at a point where I can start providing people with tutorials and APIs so they can develop their own plugins if they wish. So what I need to do is a step-by-step video for how to do that. You know, how to actually download the needed APIs and actually incorporate them into InputMapper. So that's about it for this week. Keep you guys posted, and I'll try to get a couple nightly builds up this week. All right, everybody have a good one.